Hi there, and welcome to this day in history for July 26th. Why does it say June? This is July. Okay, July 26th. And July 26th is the 207th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, 208th in leap years, with 158 days remaining to the end of the year. Today's word is lunule. Lunule, L-U-N-U-L-E, lunule. Lunule is a noun that describes the crescent-shaped whitish area at the base of the fingernail. I'd show you mine, but they're covered up with fingernail polish at the moment. But I think you know what I mean, that little white part at the base of the fingernail. Or any crescent-shaped mark, object, etc. So, another moon word. Lunule comes to us from French, Latin before that, as a diminutive of luna, which means moon. Earliest documented use of the word lunule is 1737. Also, lunule may also be known as lunula. And with that, Henry VII was recognized as King of the Romans by Pope Clement V on July 26, 1309. The precursor to the United States Post Office Department was established by the Second Continental Congress on July 26, 1775, with Benjamin Franklin as Postmaster General. On July 26, 1788, New York ratified the United States Constitution and became the 11th state of the United States. This is the birthday of a man named George Catlin, born July 26, 1796. He was an American adventurer, lawyer, artist, author, and traveler. As an artist, he specialized in portraits of Native Americans in the Old West. George Catlin lived to the age of 76. This is the birthday of George Bernard Shaw, born July 26, 1856. He was an Irish playwright and critic and interesting character. He claimed to be an atheist, but later on allowed that his religious convictions and scientific views might be more accurately described as those of a believer in creative revolution. Throughout his life, he refused to follow normal English forms of spelling and punctuation. Many of his plays, and there are many of them, many of his plays have been adapted to movies. Pygmalion, for example, the mythological character who created a woman and then fell in love with her. Pygmalion was made into a movie in 1938 and then also in 1964 as My Fair Lady. George Bernard Shaw lived to the age of 94. This is the birthday of Swiss psychiatrist and psychotherapist Carl Jung, born July 26, 1875. Where Sigmund Freud was the founder of psychoanalysis, Carl Jung founded analytical psychology, which is also known as Jungian analysis. Concepts from Jungian analysis include archetypes, the collective unconscious, complexes, extroversion and introversion, individuation, synchronicity, and a few more. Sounds like some pretty complex stuff, but I think his work has helped a lot of people. Carl Jung lived to the age of 85. Aloha Airlines began service from Honolulu International Airport on July 26, 1946. President Harry Truman signed Executive Order 9981 on July 26, 1948, desegregating the military of the United States. Walt Disney's 13th animated film, Alice in Wonderland, premiered in London on July 26, 1951. About Eva Peron, nicknamed Evita. She was the first lady of Argentina back in the 1940s and 50s, much loved by the people of her country for what she was able to achieve for them and her own political star on the rise. She developed cancer. She had surgery, but the cancer returned, and with a vengeance, as it sometimes will do. In 1952, she was the first Argentine to undergo chemotherapy. Sadly, on July 26, 1952, Eva Peron passed away. She was only 33. On July 26, 1963, a satellite called Syncom 2 was launched from Cape Canaveral. This was the world's first geosynchronous satellite, which, as I understand it, basically means that the satellite moves with the rotation of the Earth so that the satellite is over the same place on Earth, as I understand it. A similar but slightly different term is geostationary, and geostationary satellites are fixed in one place over the equator. Syncom 2 was geosynchronous. It was used for television transmissions and phone calls. I was unable to learn if it's still in use, but I think not, because the transmissions were relatively simple and actually primitive according to our current standards. But it was a first. Got to start somewhere.
Today's song is I'll Be Missing You by Puff Daddy and Faith Evans featuring 112, number 1 on July 26, 1997. I may have stopped listening to the radio by this time because this title didn't ring a bell for me, but I went to YouTube to listen to it and, oh my goodness, it made me cry. I hope I can read this to you right now. I'll Be Missing You is a rearrangement of Every Step You Take, with a little of the hymn One Glad Morning sprinkled in as a beautiful eulogy for someone who's gone on. Indeed, it was in memory of Christopher the Notorious B.I.G. Wallace, who had been murdered on March 9th of 1997. I'll Be Missing You actually hit the number 1 spot in June of 1997 and held that position for 11 weeks, way into August, covering the time we find it on July 26, 1997. This is a beautiful tribute to someone who has gone on. I'll Be Missing You by Puff Daddy and Faith Evans, featuring 112, number 1, July 26, 1997.
And I think that's going to do it for us today. Thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Feel free to share this video with the link in your email, messaging, or social media. If you enjoy this series, you can check out the playlist that contains these videos. I'll put a link to that in the description. That description lives on YouTube, so for other platforms, I'll include the link to my blog page that is called No Really. You can also find me on Rumble, Parler, BitChute, and Getter. All those links in that description. Alrighty, that's all I can think of right now. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.